This is QTV Nightly News. I'm Umudu Gajaga and thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. At the opening of a three-day NGO forum on reparative justice in the Gambia, human rights advocates from across Africa call for the establishment of robust systems to promote and protect the rights of migrants and vulnerable communities. The Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources has validated the 2025 to 2029 Gender and Climate Change Action Plan. The plan integrates gender-responsive approaches into the Gambia's climate action initiatives. Gambian artist Jelly Suso has been honored with the prestigious 2025 Nene Gender Cup Award by the Nene Foundation in recognition of his commitment to gender equality and transitional justice in the Gambia. On Monday, the Media Academy for Journalism and Communication, MAJAC, in collaboration with partner organizations, launched a three-day advanced fact-checking and media literacy training for 30 journalists from the Gambia and Guinea-Bissau. In international news, Amnesty International has issued a stark warning over what it described as a rapidly deteriorating global human rights landscape, exacerbated by what it terms the Trump effect. Those were the news headlines, now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you for joining us. This is QTV News. Human rights advocates across Africa are calling for the institutions of strong systems that will ensure the promotion and protection of rights of migrants and vulnerable communities and adequate reparations for victims of human rights violations across the continent. They made the call at the opening of a three-day NGO forum on reparative justice. Ansumana Esonyasi was there and housed now the details.
This international convergence of rights advocates currently underway in the Gambia and being held under the theme Justice for Africans and the People of African Descent through Reparations seeks to galvanize efforts of stakeholders, particularly CSOs and policymakers across Africa, with a view to engaging in meaningful dialogue and to formulate strategies for the effective implementation of the continent's reparative justice frameworks. The Executive Director of the African Center for Democracy and Human Rights Studies, Hannah Foster, and Mohamed Mabasa Sall, a member of the ACDHRS Governing Council, stressed the need to institute strong systems that will help reinforce efforts to protect and promote rights of vulnerable groups, with a special focus on restoring human dignity through reparations, especially for victims of rights violations.
Many times it's associated with monetary dimensions. Yes, but we ask ourselves, how can a dignity of a person be monetarized? It's a very difficult task that we will be setting for ourselves.
Emphasizing the need to address challenges victims encounter, the non-compliance with victim reparations by state actors, and the need to amplify victims' voices, Najib Muley Lassen, a member of the NGOs Forum, and Jegan Gray Johnson of Open Society, called for more solidarity with migrants and victims of rights violations across Africa.
The situation of human rights in Africa is deteriorating in alarming rates. Civic space is shrinking. Freedom of expression is under siege. Many activists and journalists face harassment, intimidation, and even violence for voicing their opinion.
The embers of destruction still glow in Cabo Delgado, northern Mozambique, and unresolved election disputes remain peppered about the continent, causing tension and a potential for more coups d'etats, deepened militarized politics, and further instability.
Hussein Tomasi, the Gambia Solicitor General, spoke on behalf of the government of the Gambia. He highlighted the country's ongoing reforms, transitional justice process programs, along with several other victim-centered government programs.
We invite the international community and its members to honor the memory of the victims of these tragedies. We further note that some have taken the initiative of regretting or expressing remorse or presenting apologies, and call on all those who have not yet contributed to restoring the dignity of the victims to find appropriate ways to do so.
There were several other speakers, including Gilbert Nari of the Network of African Human Rights Institutions, who spoke on the role of national human rights institutions in promoting dignity and protection of rights in Africa. He also highlighted the impact of reparations, arguing that it serves as a symbol of collective acknowledgement of past wrongs and an enduring commitment to prevent recurrence. This convergence of rights advocates across the continent is happening at a time when the African continent is confronted by challenges, including conflicts in Sudan and Congo, unresolved election disputes, insurgencies, and the 3 ECOWAS member states leaving the regional bloc. However, advocates hope that this meeting in Banjul will create a platform to help address most of these challenges. Ansmane Sonyasi for KTV News.
The Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources has validated the 2025 to 2029 Gender and Climate Change Action Plan. The plan integrates gender-responsive approaches into the Gambia's climate action initiatives. Jennifer Sonko has the details.
Stakeholders from various sectors working on issues of gender and climate change convened for the validation of the Gender and Climate Change Action Plan developed by a team of consultants, which will reflect in the Gambia's next Climate Action Plan 2025 to 2029. This document is formulated by the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources in collaboration with the West Africa Coastal Areas Resilience Investment Project WACA. Here is Masane Funding Sise, representative of the WACA project coordinator.
Therefore, signifies the great importance that the ministry and its partners places in the socio-economic role that women continue to play in climate change, water, and fisheries sector, because gender equality and women's economic empowerment is central in the transformative climate-smart value chain, as it is not only a matter of advocating for their needs, but also a precondition for sustainable development.
Climate change is currently one of the most significant economic challenges in the world and one of the leading causes of the rise in global hunger. These challenges have affected the ability of the world to achieve Sustainable Development Goal 2, Zero Hunger. The Gambia is heavily reliant on agriculture, which contributes 18% of the Gambia's gross domestic product. Smallholder farmers, especially women, face numerous setbacks caused by climate uncertainties. Maria Mandao Jaju, Director of Central Project Coordinating Unit, elaborates.
Agriculture is the backbone of the country, and we've seen the decline in food production as a result of climate-related hazards. And we've seen the implication of that on women, the implication of that on the vulnerable populations.
The Director of Gender at the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, Marianne Jabang, applauded the ministry and the WACA project for placing gender-related matters at the forefront of their climate action initiatives from 2025 to 2029.
We want to do this to be in an inclusive manner where women are not left out. So that's why we come up with not just developing a climate change action plan, but also to make sure gender is mainstreamed into this particular action plan.
Among other initiatives, the West Africa Coastal Areas Resilient Investment Project WACA will restore the Kotu stream, strengthen flood defenses, and create livelihood opportunities for communities in the Gambia. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Song.
Gambian artist Jelly Suso has been honored with the prestigious 2025 Nene Gender Cup Award by the Nene Foundation in recognition of his commitment to gender equality and transitional justice in the Gambia. The event also marked the launch of the He for She music movement. Julden Jai attended the event and she now reports.
The 2025 Nene Gender Cup shines a spotlight on individuals challenging gender norms. Jelly Suso, renowned for his work with Fantanka Collective, was recognized for his use of music as a powerful tool for advocacy and healing, particularly in the context of transitional justice following the Gambia's Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission. Thembo Jabate, also known as D-Jobs, the founder and manager of the He for She music movement, noted that the Nene Foundation has long been a leader in advancing women's empowerment.
For more than a decade, the Nene Foundation has been instrumental in youth empowerment, particularly for the girl child. Its unwavering commitment to societal transformation has paved the way for what we witness today.
Jelly Suso, artist and recipient of the 2025 Nene Gender Cup Award, dedicated the honor to his mother and wife. He expressed gratitude to the Nene Foundation and Fantanka for their continued guidance and support.
To all women and girls in the Gambia, know this, you are not alone. We see you, we hear you, we fight for you. To my fellow men, my brothers, I say this with love and urgency. It is time to rise, time to break the chains of harmful traditions, time to be allies, not bystanders. Let us teach our sons to honor, not to harm. Let us build homes, communities, and a nation where women and girls can walk free without fear, without shame, and without apology.
The ceremony also marked the official launch of the He for She music movement, a campaign that seeks to harness the influence of Gambia's music industry to uplift communities, promote gender parity, and inspire systematic change. Dembo Jobate, the manager and founder of He for She music movement, elaborates.
The He for She music movement is a 5-year initiative that I proudly launched to engage Gambian artists and music industry players in the fight against FGM and sectorial sexual violence aligned with SDG 5 and as the Beijing Declaration. We are using the power of audible sound and visuals to amplify our mission, because if we are to end sexual and gender-based violence by 2030, we must do it with creativity, passion, and bold advocacy.
Fatou Kinte, Minister for Gender, Children and Social Welfare, said she is honored to be associated with the event, calling it a moment of joy for those who advocate for gender equality, equity, and the empowerment of women.
We must make sure that at all levels we move together with the women. It's not like having women at the back of the man. I do agree with that. We should work side by side with the men if you want to achieve gender equity, equality, and the empowerment of women. We must work together to address gender-based violence. We must work together to address social norms which deter the progress of women.
4QTV News, I am Julden Yai.
We are now taking a short commercial break. When we return, we'll bring you the story of over 30 journalists from the Gambia and Guinea-Bissau who are gaining vital skills to detect and fight misinformation and disinformation. Plus, we will take a look at efforts to tackle marine pollution and raise environmental awareness, led by the African Youth Leadership Hub Gambia chapter. On more. Stay tuned.
réewu Gambia ana ñu ko doon waajal di laajte kañ la ak fan la dama ne may ma sa nopp ma déy la waa Kombo Beach Resort ñoo leen indil Amadou borom ma Samba Waalo mu nar a ñoo def kala diina bu doy waar bu nar a neex andi 9 of May lay doon dama ne lii foor na ñu ne amuñu ci loolu dinañu indi Awa Gambia xale bu mun a wëy Awa Gambia nooy ñëwee mu ne ma Kapsin dinaa def lu foor ndax kat ku ma xam ma ci mbalax mu tar mi dinaa indi ñaar fukki sabar waaw kay Kombo Beach Resort ne amuñu ci loolu dinañu indi malls mu ñëw toj Souleymane yi ñëw toccanti ko kon nag book leen seeni tables gold table $50,000 platinum table $60,000 individual duga bi $4,000 kon nag reservation enquiries number 764-7777.
sama mbokku Gambien yi maa leen jox rendez-vous inshallah le 9 mai waaw Kombo Beach.
Ça va? Ça va bien, diable.
Oryx, with you all the way.
Powered by Africa, Oryx Energies.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. On Monday, the Media Academy for Journalism and Communication, MAJAC, in partnership with other organizations, launched a 3-day advanced fact-checking and media literacy training. The program aims to equip 30 journalists from the Gambia and Guinea-Bissau with critical skills to identify and combat misinformation and disinformation. Osman Jatta tells us more.
Era where misinformation and disinformation rapidly spread across social media platforms and news outlets, the ability to verify the accuracy of information has never become more crucial. From political narratives to health claims, journalists are constantly faced with the challenge of separating truth from fiction. This training is designed to address the pressing issue of false information in an increasingly digital world. James Paji, Director of Training at MAJAC, highlighted the importance of fact-checking in today's media landscape.
It is another bold step forward toward equipping journalists and community media with the tools to combat the tidal wave of misinformation and disinformation. But why does this really matter? In an era where falsehoods spread faster than facts, journalists and community radios are the frontline defenders of truth.
This training focuses on identifying fake news and verifying sources to using specialized digital tools such as Google Fact Check Explorer to help confirm the authenticity of claims. Modu S. Diouf, the Secretary General of the Gambia Press Union, emphasized the importance of the training in shaping democracy ahead of the upcoming elections for both the Gambia and Guinea-Bissau.
Ensure information integrity and to fight misinformation and disinformation, which has now been normalized by various political and social actors. This 3-day training is well within the Gambia Press Union's vision of the Gambia as an open society where citizens and non-citizens are empowered through accurate and undiluted information to be able to make informed choices essential for society's socio-cultural, economic, and political development.
The training is supported by UNESCO through the Infrastructure for Peace project funded by the UN Peace Building Fund. Michelle Kennymore is the West Africa Advisor and Information Officer for UNESCO, and Naomi Williams is the Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services.
With strong commitment, together, fact-checkers and community media can nurture trust in the information ecosystem of our respective country.
It is only through the free exchange of accurate information that citizens can meaningfully participate in the democratic process, holding leaders accountable and building a society founded on trust and transparency.
As the world becomes more interconnected digitally, journalists continue to face an essential role in maintaining the accuracy of information that shapes public opinion and decision-making. Adam Asane, a freelance journalist, shared his expectations from the training.
This is an advanced training, an advanced fact-checking training and digital verification. So I'm expecting to learn so much in order to enhance my capabilities, my capacities in making sure that I combat fake news.
The training will feature expert-led sessions and hands-on exercises. Journalists will practice verifying news stories, assessing the credibility of sources, and uncovering misleading content. Osman Jatta, reporting for QTV News.
In an effort to combat marine pollution and promote environmental awareness, the African Youth Leadership Hub Gambia chapter organized a beach cleanup exercise on Sunday at Fajara Beach. Zainab Chow reports.
The event attracted young volunteers who gathered to remove waste and debris from the shoreline, while raising awareness about the importance of maintaining clean and sustainable coastal areas. The initiative aims to address the growing concerns over litter and debris on Gambia's beautiful beaches, which play a crucial role in the local ecosystem and economy. Armed with gloves, trash bags, the participants combed the shoreline, collecting plastic waste, bottles, and other debris that threaten marine life and the natural landscape. Basiru J., Program Officer at the National Youth Council and Advisory Board Member of African Youth Leadership Hub Gambia, provides an overview of the environmental challenges associated with beach pollution.
We have lots of people coming to the beach, having their get-togethers or like retreat or whatsoever, but they come with waste. But while leaving, they leave the waste here. So at times you think of like, what are we doing as humans? Because this is the beach. There are marine lives living here. And one thing that people don't understand is that it is very dangerous to dump plastics and then waste in the beaches, because now, for instance, those who are fond of eating seafood, now if those plastics, those microplastics are being consumed by the marine life, it goes back to the food chain. Now, for instance, look at the aspect of when marine lives are entangled with the plastics. They suffocate.
Mr. J further advised the youth to take better care of the beaches.
So I call on each and every young person out there to make sure that we ensure our beaches are clean and safe with fresh air, because if we come for your Sunday beaches and whatsoever, come with a plastic bag, pack everything again, take it back. So if everybody does that, then there will be no need for people or organizations to be coming and cleaning the beaches.
Fana Sise, president of the Co-Africa Alumni Network, urged young people to take action in protecting the ecosystem.
Taking action is very important when it comes to collaboration, and young people nowadays, we need to participate when it comes to leading our initiative, because one of the things we do is educating people. But apart from those education, what are we going to do? Because when you learn something without taking action, it's just like you know something without using it.
Kumba Sow, a volunteer, shared that this was her first time participating in a beach cleanup exercise and spoke about her experience.
So far, the fact that you get to know how hard it is to get it cleaned up actually makes me more aware that whenever I am outside in the beach or in a public place, that to keep it clean. Because if you don't keep it clean, you're going to make it hard for someone else as well, because if it's not clean, you're not going to be comfortable to do what you want to do. And it's peaceful. Seeing it so clean is peaceful.
The African Youth Leadership Hub is an international organization dedicated to educating and empowering young Africans in ethical leadership development, entrepreneurship, and aligning with the UN Sustainable Development Goals across various sectors of Africa. For QTV News, I am Zainab Chow.
Now to international news. Amnesty International has issued a stark warning over what it describes as a rapidly deteriorating global human rights landscape, exacerbated by what it terms the Trump effect, a trend it says has emboldened regressive policies and undermined international human rights norms. Ansumana Isunyasi has the details.
Amnesty International's report, The State of the World's Human Rights, offers a comprehensive assessment of human rights conditions across the globe, identifying a range of critical threats, including conflict-related abuses, systemic discrimination, and the misuse of technology to curtail civil liberties. In Africa, protracted armed conflicts have continued to exact a devastating toll on civilians. The report highlights a surge in sexual and gender-based violence, widespread displacement, and high civilian casualties, noting that both international and regional responses have been insufficient. Civilians affected by conflict frequently feel neglected and unprotected, Amnesty states. The global cost of living crisis also features prominently in the report. Rising prices for food, fuel, and other essentials have placed immense strain on populations worldwide. Amnesty cites contributing factors such as high taxation, unsustainable national debt, entrenched corruption, worsening armed conflicts, and extreme weather events linked to climate change. The report raises serious concerns over the increasing risk faced by individuals engaging in peaceful protest. Across numerous countries, demonstrations have been met with excessive and often lethal force. Amnesty documents widespread violations of the rights to freedom of expression, peaceful assembly and association. Repressive tactics reportedly used by governments include enforced disappearances, arbitrary arrest, and the detention of human rights defenders, journalists, activists, and political opponents. Conflict and climate-induced shocks continue to drive mass displacement, with Sudan currently facing the largest displacement crisis globally. The number of refugees fleeing violence is rising, and many live in unsafe, overcrowded conditions or under the constant threat of forced return. Discrimination and gender-based violence remain daily realities for many women and girls, fueled by deeply rooted societal norms. The report details unlawful killings and other abuses committed by both government forces and armed groups across multiple African nations. Incidents were recorded in Burkina Faso, Cameroon, the Central African Republic, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Mali, Mozambique, Niger, Nigeria, Somalia, South Sudan, and Sudan. In Burkina Faso, the military reportedly killed at least 223 civilians, including 56 children, in the villages of Soro and Nodin in February. Similar violence was reported in May when government forces and affiliated militias allegedly killed hundreds of civilians during a supply operation in the country's east. And in Ethiopia, following armed clashes in January between government forces and militias in the town of Merawi in the Amhara region, security forces allegedly rounded up dozens of civilian men from homes, shops, and public spaces before executing them. Amnesty's findings underscore the urgent need for stronger international action to uphold human rights, protect civilians in conflict zones, and hold perpetrators of abuse accountable. Answane Sonyasi for KTV News.
That's all that we have time for at this moment. Join us again at 10 for another edition of QTV News.